name is Antonio, and I welcome you back to Global Education Zone. And today, in our English class, we're talking about pronouns. Now, what are pronouns? Pronouns are basically the pro of nouns, right? That's about. Not really. Pronouns are basically the helpers of nouns, not the pro of nouns. That's trash. So pronouns are basically the parts of speech that assist noun in performing their functions. So a pronoun is a word that can simply be used in place of a noun. So whenever you are using a noun too much and you want to make it more grammatically meaningful, you can make use of a pronoun to express yourself better. For example, if I make a sentence, I say let me give an English name. Ben ate the food that Ben cooked. Now in this sentence, I said Ben ate the food that Ben cooked. Now if I say that to you, and now this might even seem still sensible, but if I go on and keep mentioning Ben, that's gonna be really piss. It can really piss you off, right? So if I say Ben ate the food that Ben cooked, that Ben ate the food that Ben cooked when Ben was in the kitchen. So that's kind of like, you be like, why are you just mentioning Ben? So basically, a pronoun is here to help us out. Basically, what you do is you basically replace that noun with a pronoun, and that pronoun will correspond to the if it's a male, you use a male pronoun. If it's a female, you use she. If it's a male, you use he. So I will replace it with what he. So instead of saying Ben ate the food that Ben cooked, I could just say Ben ate the food that he cooked. So that is how pronouns help nouns in sentences. So now let's go on about the forms of pronouns. We'll talk about 8 different types of pronouns today, and the first one we're talking about is personal pronouns. And a personal pronoun is basically that pronoun that performs the function of a person. For example, this he is a personal pronoun, and it is also known as we call it a third person singular pronoun. So the first person pronoun is the speaker of the action, like I and we. We are the ones, we are the subjective pronouns. I and we, they are the first person singular and plural respectively. If I say I go to school, I is the first person singular pronoun. If I say we go to school, we is the first person plural pronoun. If I say you go to school, you are the second person singular pronoun. If I say you should be fast, and that's you. If I'm talking about the you to a group of people, that becomes a plural pronoun. But the second person pronoun, the second person personal pronoun, they are both you as singular and you as plural. But the you, it can be used in different ways. I could, if I'm a lecturer and I'm talking to my students, I could say you students do not do your assignment. So that you is speaking to a group of people. But if I'm a friend and I'm talking to my classmate, I could say you did not come to my house. So I'm talking to a singular person. So you can appear as a singular or plural. It depends on the context of the sentence. Then we have the third person singular, which is he, she, it. Then we have the third person plural, which is they. So these are all personal pronouns, and these pronouns, they are used in place of nouns. Next, we have reflexive pronouns. Reflexive pronouns are pronouns that basically when I use when an action is performed by the sentence, whereas the subject of the sentence is also the object of the sentence. If I say he ate the food himself, that himself is a reflexive pronoun. Then we also have the indefinite pronouns. Indefinite pronouns are pronouns that are not used to describe a singular person. Indefinite pronouns are pronouns that talk to kind of like anybody, random person. For example, anybody, everybody, somebody, nowhere, somewhere. So those are all indefinite pronouns because they don't talk to they are not used to refer to a singular person in particular. They are like the general pronouns. They are used to talk to anybody in particular. I just use one, anybody. You see? Now, next we'll talk about the relative pronouns. Now, the relative pronouns are the pronouns that are used to introduce relative clauses. And a relative clause, in the previous video, I mentioned that earlier, that a relative clause is the clause that also functions as an adjectival clause, right? For example, in the sentence, this is the house which I built. This is the house which I built. Now, which I built is the relative clause or the adjectival clause because it is describing the house, right? Because if I say this is the house, then you'll be like, okay, what about the house? And so like, what do I do about the house? But if I say this is house which I built, you say, okay, right, okay, you built this house, right? I've made it easier for you to understand. So that which I built is a relative pronoun, and it is preceded, or rather, it is introduced by a relative clause, which is which. Example of relative clause are which, where, when, and so on and so forth. Well, we also have possessive pronouns. Possessive pronouns are also used to express possessions, like my is my bag. That's my is a possessive pronoun. Okay, rather that is used as an adjective. Let me use it as a pronoun now. If I say the bag is mine, that's mine is a possessive pronoun. The phone is yours. Yours is a possessive pronoun. So it's used to express the possession of an individual. Now next we have the demonstrative pronouns, and basically these are used to express demonstration, to point out things, to demonstrate things. For example, that okay, whose house is that? That is often used as a question. Demonstrative pronoun. Whose house is that? So that is a demonstrative pronoun. Then we also have interrogative pronouns. Interrogative pronouns are pronouns that are used to express question, like who is there? Who is is an interrogative pronoun. Then lastly, we'll talk about the distributive pronouns. And the distributive pronouns are the pronouns that are used when an action is performed between two people, and it's also known as a reciprocal pronouns. These are pronouns when the action is performed between two people, and they complement each other. Like it's kind of like a vice versa. So if you greet me and I greet you, then I could just call it in one sentence. I say we greeted ourselves. Ourselves is used as a distributive pronoun or a reciprocal pronoun. So example of that are ourselves, themselves, and so on and so forth. So, and also we also have on one another. Sorry, I mean distributive pronouns. I made a mistake there. I actually meant to say each other. Sorry, each other, one another. Those are distributive or reciprocal pronouns. So if I say they greeted each other, that is a distributive or reciprocal pronoun. So you can see that English, as I keep talking, English is getting more interesting. So if I wanted to exhaust everything, it would take a very long time. So that's why I'm making summaries like this, so you can easily use this background knowledge to further your knowledge in English. So that is why I'm making this introductory course. Thank you for watching.